I recently got my hands on my first ever e-mountain bike, and I made a video about it, to which I very quickly received a slew of comments telling me how disappointed people are in me, how weak I must be because I need the assist, how fat I'm gonna get, I might as well go start eating McDonald's, and there goes my conditioning forever. I will never be fit again. And you know, I've been receiving a lot of YouTube comments over the years. Things like, hey, when you gonna get a job, you bum? That YouTube thing's definitely not gonna work out. And hey, I'm your soulmate, I swear. I just need this quick Cash App deposit so I can hop on a plane and get to you. And I'm pretty sure if you just try hard enough, you could definitely 360 over crabapple hits. So forgive me if I don't just believe everything I read in YouTube comment sections. However, it did get me thinking and a little bit curious about the topic. So today, we're doing a little experiment. I have with me a heart monitor and a bike computer, and I am gonna put these on and ride a full ride on each of my bikes and then take a look at actual statistics. We're gonna back with science and facts, not YouTube comments and speculation. So today, I'm here at Canoga Bike Park where I can ride both of these bikes, and I'm gonna start with my regular mountain bike, and we're gonna go ride for 2 hours today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna get on my e-mountain bike, and I'm gonna ride for exactly 2 hours again, and then we will look at the statistics from the bike computer and the heart monitor and see what the deal is. So I'm stoked. Let's get going on a ride. Here we are at the main climb of Canoga, High Rocks climb, and while I'm out here doing these two rides, I am also going to keep track of, aside from the bike computer and the stats that it's going to gather, I'm also going to keep an eye on a couple other things. One of which I wanted to measure was how long is it taking me on each of these bikes to do this main climb to get to the top. I know obviously it's faster on the e-bike, but I want to know how much. But first, let's get this bike computer fired up. Heart sensor found, that's good. And voila, we're off. Yeah, no worries, you're good. There goes an e-bike passing me. And that doesn't make me upset in the least bit, like not at all. Yeah, I've never really understood that. Just about there. That took me 17:37. Now we're gonna cruise down Evergreen, which is the green flow trail, and in my opinion, supremely underrated. I know it's a green trail, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. I'm also gonna kind of like try to take note how the bikes feel different on different trails. The next run, I'm gonna ride a trail that's a little tighter, and then after that, hopefully, I'm gonna ride a tech trail. I've ridden my e-bike for the last couple rides, and I will say, being on this bike, I feel much more playful already. Oh yeah. Let's go hit some jumps. So I have been doing quite a bit of practice on this line on my, wow, on my e-bike. Oh, whoa, man, that's feeling good. Okay. Second lap up to the top. Been just under an hour, 57 minutes. All right, Hemlock Epoch. Let's go. One of my absolute favorite trails in the area, and I think this will be a tough one on the e-bike because of how tight and technical it is. So it'll be an interesting comparison. I haven't ridden this in a minute. Like, these turns right here are hard on the e-bike. Drop, step down here, step up. Yoo! Yeah, I love that trail. Yeah, I don't know that. Oh dear. That trail could be very difficult on the e-bike. All right, this time I'm gonna time how long it takes me to climb up the back way of Canoga. Whew. Just about to the top. I'm actually kind of surprised how fast that went.
13 minutes, not too bad. For what's gonna be the last lap of the day, we're gonna ride a tech trail called Paint It Black. This is something I'm really interested in because I definitely have found it a little difficult riding the heavier bike, the heavier, more cumbersome bike in the tech stuff. So like on that drop, I've done it on the e-bike and I almost crashed. This trail's really good. Man, it is freaking chunky in here right now. Oh God, woo! Great run. One thing I can say without a doubt is that the amount of practice I've been getting on the e-bike absolutely is transferring to this, to my Amish bike. I'm gonna call it something different every time, just to mess with you guys. I'm gonna wrap up with a couple laps on Tortuga, some jumps to finish the ride here. Tell you what, whipping is way easier on this bike. Oh yeah, oh my God, I'm feeling so good. Let's go. Yo! Let's go all the way down. 53, 54, 55, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2 hours. We're gonna hit end ride and save. Boom. And then you have it, part 1 on the Amish bike. And that's my new favorite one. We'll see you for part 2, whipping the e-bike out. All right, while I'm getting my next bike ready for the ride, let me take a second to tell you about the e-bike that I'm actually riding and where I got it from. The e-bike that I'm riding for this comparison is a Specialized Kenevo SL, which is an important distinction to make because it is not indeed a full-sized e-bike, but instead a slimmed down version with a smaller 240 watt motor and a 320 watt hour battery. Now, the battery won't affect this comparison, but the motor most certainly will, as the e-assist given from this motor in even the highest setting, the turbo setting, is still significantly less than a full e-bike. Trust me, I have tried riding with a friend on a full e-bike and he had to try hard not to leave me in the dust. So yeah, I'm not getting the full e-power. Do with that what you will, but as I said in the beginning, I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not trying to justify anything, so I'm just working with what I got. While we're on the topic of what I got, I am only fortunate enough to be riding this bike thanks to the sponsor of today's video, the Pros Closet. If you haven't heard of them before, the Pros Closet is the premier retailer of online certified pre-owned bikes, making buying used bikes safer and easier than ever before. On their online shop, the Pros Closet has an absolute mind-numbing amount of bikes to select from. The best part though is that every bike on their site is certified pre-owned, meaning that each has gone through a meticulous 141-point inspection by more than 8 individual mechanics, making sure that they are mechanically sound, clean, and ready to be ridden. The Pros Closet believes that every bike has a next owner that will be stoked on it, and that we all benefit from having more bikes out there on the roads and trails rather than sitting around in a garage gathering dust somewhere. I personally think that this is a really awesome concept that not only extends the life of bikes, but it also opens up an entirely new range of bikes that may have otherwise been out of our personal budget. Yes, because the bikes are indeed used, they are also often greatly discounted compared to their original price. In fact, the original price of this Specialized bike I'm on was a staggering $11,000. But when I picked it up off of the Pros Closet site, they had it listed for just above $7,000. It really is the best of both worlds, getting a bike at a fraction of the original MSRP while also having the no questions asked money back guarantee from the Pros Closet if for whatever reason the bike doesn't turn out to be up to your standards or doesn't fit you or something. The Pros Closet also sells components, accessories, wheels, apparel, all sorts of other stuff. And right now, regardless of what you're shopping for, the Pros Closet is offering my viewers a special discount of $40 off any purchase over $200 on their site using code SingleTrack40 when checking out. Thanks again to the Pros Closet for sponsoring today's video, and also thank you guys for this awesome bike that I've been enjoying riding so much. Speaking of riding, what do you guys say we get on to part 2? Let's go. All right, here we are back at High Rocks Climb and on the trusty e-bike. This time we got 2 things to power up. Start up the e-bike here. I got my heart rate monitor on, and we'll turn on the bike computer again. And if I hadn't mentioned it, this is the Stages L200 bike computer. and I am wearing a Wahoo strap heart monitor. Shout out to my buddies at Gravello Bikes in downtown Asheville for letting me borrow these, because I definitely don't own these myself. We're gonna turn the bike into turbo, the fastest, most assist, because that's generally what I ride it in, just for whole rides. Let's do it. Stoked. It's a beautiful day again out here. Right at the beginning of this e-bike section, I kind of want to address something. I want to make it clear that I'm doing this just for fun. I personally don't really mind what your individual preference is. Like, if you are about e-bikes, cool. If you're not, that's fine. I really don't mind. Like, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but what I do feel very strongly about is when people begin trying to tell other people what they can and cannot ride. E-bikes, this whole thing about hating on e-bikes is not a new thing. It's just the most recent thing. That's always been around in mountain biking. The very cliquey, you know, you're not allowed to be part of our club exclusive aspect, but it's something that I am adamantly against. I believe that mountain biking should be about inclusivity and getting as many people out enjoying, recreating in the outdoors as possible on whatever vehicle that they prefer. I don't think it is up to you to determine what that is. And in fact, the minute that we try to tell someone how they should be mountain biking is the minute I think it becomes very not mountain biking. Like, mountain biking is inherently a counterculture sport, like a counterculture culture. So telling someone that they aren't a mountain biker because they don't have expensive enough of a mountain bike, or they aren't skilled enough, or they aren't the right ethnicity, gender, age, whatever, is so not, in my opinion, what mountain biking is about. So when I stick up for e-bikes, what I'm sticking up for is inclusivity in the sport, not gatekeeping the beauty and joy and community and fun of riding mountain bikes outside. All I ask, especially if you're in this community and part of the channel and you enjoy my vids, keep an open mind, guys, because in this community, I just want to encourage people, whoever they are, whatever they got, to get outside and ride. Anyway, all right, we are cruising up this climb. 10 minutes, 20 seconds. That's like shaving almost 8 minutes off, which is almost half. Just like yesterday, we're gonna start with the lap on the green trail to warm up. Woo! Such good flow, man. I think that the e-bike is definitely pretty fun on the flow trails because the extra weight means I pick up speed so quickly, it's wild. Oh, huge bug in my mouth. I think that might have been a spider. I think on the e-bike, I also kind of push harder on the downhills because I know I have like extra energy that I don't necessarily need on the climbs. And time. All right, just like yesterday, we'll head over and get some jumps in. So I think it's definitely worth noting, I know it is, that as of now, I've only been riding for 17 and a half minutes, which means I would have just been getting to the top on my Amish bike. That's pretty wild, man. Let's see if I can be as dialed on these jumps as I was the other day. Oh God. I also think that sometimes the speed that I get on this is it kind of works against me because it freaks me out a little bit sometimes and I panic. No, that time, that felt great. Heck yeah, let's go. But I do think that's what happened the first run. Woo! Easy peasy, fun and breezy. Following the same schedule as yesterday, we're going back to the top, and this time we're gonna go up the back way. Something I was thinking about, and something that I would be remiss not to bring up, something I'm fully aware of, is my test is definitely not applicable to everyone, because I think that everyone rides their e-bikes differently. What I think is like, I think that the power output range, the lower threshold on an acoustic bike is much higher, because you have to put in enough energy to get yourself moving. That's the minimum. But that low end is much lower on an e-bike, because it has the assist and it will propel you. So you can put in less on the low end, but I still think that the high end threshold of your output can be the same as on the Amish bike. So I think that the range is just bigger on the e-bike. So what I'm saying is that it depends on how you ride your e-bike, the results you would get doing the same test. All right, gonna take a little rest, and then let's give her. Hemlock Epoch. Woohoo! This trail is so good. Here we go, blast off. Wah! Man, I'm not gonna lie, also feels fine in here in these turns. I should mention both these bikes are 29. Step up. Whoa! Yeah! Oh my gosh! Trail's so fast! Wow, that gets your arms pumping. Man, I think I still rode it pretty well. All right, let's head back up. Lap number 3 on Paint It Black. This is the one I'm a little nervous about. I gotta be dialed. Oh my goodness gracious. It's coming so hot. There's just no way not to. It gets rough and fast. Oh God. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I'm like definitely getting a little faster than I want to. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, made it. Did fine. Better than I expected, to be honest. A couple stats here. We're at an hour and 5 into the ride, and that was the last lap that I did on the Amish bike. The end of the ride yesterday consisted of 3 laps on Tortuga, which we'll go do. But we're just over half of the ride that was, you know, an hour out of 2 hours. So very interesting. All right, here's lap 1. Run 1. Lap 2. You. And lap 3. You. Yeah. And that means, as of now, I have done everything that I did in yesterday's ride in 1 hour and 15 minutes today. Wow. What am I gonna do with another 45 minutes? I guess I'm gonna go back to Dot, ride some more trail. All right, I finished up my last bonus 30 minutes doing an extra lap to the top, and after that I decided to get some jump practice in on the end of my ride today. So I did 4 extra laps on Tortuga, which is 7 jumps a piece, so 28 jumps there, and then I came out to the parking lot jumps and rode the blue line 7 times, which is 4 jumps per time. So that is a total of 49, almost 50 extra jumps practice at the just tacked on to the end of my ride, thanks to being on the e-bike. So that's pretty sweet. But thus concludes the end of the e-bike ride, and that brings us to the part of the video that everyone's been waiting for. Let's look at some numbers. All right, back in the van, and I have accumulated quite a number of stats that I think a lot of you are gonna find really interesting. I find really interesting. Let's start with the basics, the big picture stuff. And I'll put all this stuff on the screen so you guys can keep up with me. The total time ridden on both, 2 hours. The total distance ridden on the regular bike
is 7.7 miles. The e-bike was 11 miles. Total elevation ridden was 2,203 feet for the reg bike and 3,293 feet for the e-bike. The laps that I was able to do on each ride were 3 top to bottom runs on the regular bike and then the equivalent of 35 jumps versus 4 top to bottom runs and 85 jumps. Average speed on my regular mountain bike was 3.84 miles per hour. On the e-bike, it was 5.5. Max speed though was 26.84 miles an hour on my regular bike and 24.61 on the e-bike. So definitely can go faster on my classic bike. Well, that's a new one, than on the e-bike, which I actually was a little surprised to see. We're looking at like a lot of 50%. So 50% further, about 50% more climbing and downhill practice, and more than double the amount of jumps. Now, let me tell you the lap times for each run. I went and looked at each of my GoPro clips and found how long it took me to get down each run, and because I was curious. So first, let's start with the climb time. The main climb on my regular bike, I got up in 17:37, and on the e-bike, that same climb took me only 10 minutes and 20 seconds. On the steeper climb, the back way up, it took me 13 minutes on my acoustic bike and only 6 minutes, under half the time on my e-bike. For the green flow run, I was fastest on the e-bike with a time of 3 minutes 55 seconds. On my regular bike, it was 4 minutes and 2 seconds. So pretty close, but faster on the e-bike. On the slope style run, this was interesting. On the one that I was not sure I'd do great on the e-bike, it wouldn't handle it well. I was 1 second faster at 1 minute and 59 seconds on the e-bike and 2 minutes on my Amish bike. But this is the most interesting thing to me. I was 4 seconds slower on the e-bike, coming in at 2 minutes 10 seconds versus 2 minutes and 6 seconds on my regular bike. So what I was feeling when I was riding actually is shown in the numbers. When I have a straightaway flow trail, the e-bike is faster thanks to its heavier weight, and I can pick up speed faster, probably gain, like when I hit my brakes, I can get back to speed faster. However, when riding the really techie stuff, I clearly prefer being on the regular bike with this better maneuverability. Now let's get into the more health related stuff, the fitness related stuff, which a lot of you guys are probably here for. So let's start by talking about heart rates, because that's how most people, I think, I don't measure that, I don't do this, but most people, like when you're measuring the fitness that you're getting in rides, you're looking at heart rate. So the average heart rate on my acoustic bike was 144. The average on the e-bike was about exactly the same at 145. On the max heart rate, however, it was 180 for my mountain bike and 184 for the e-mountain bike. I spiked a higher heart rate at some point on my ride on the e-mountain bike than I did on my classic bike. I thought that was pretty interesting. I wouldn't have necessarily guessed that, but no, I would have guessed that because I guarantee you that happened on a downhill, not on a climb. I'll show you guys the graph of each of these, my heart rate graph. And something interesting from that I noticed was it definitely looked like I was taking fewer breaks during the ride on my e-bike. And when I did, they were also shorter breaks. Now let's talk about the times in your certain heart rate zones. This is where people that do road riding probably are gonna get to geek out or be really interested. So what I thought was interesting is the period, they were like very similar. You wouldn't, if you just looked at both of these graphs, no one would be able to tell like, oh yeah, that's clearly the e-bike ride and that's clearly the mountain bike ride, the regular bike. They're almost identical. So I spent more time in the endurance zone on the e-bike than on the regular bike, and I think that's probably comes from the climbs. I think probably I had more heart rates that pushed over into the yellow zone when on my regular mountain bike while on climbs, whereas on the e-mountain bike, my heart rate stayed in the green zone more than the yellow when on the climbs. So I think that's where that difference comes from. Overall, these heart rate graphs are absolutely gonna differ from rider to rider depending on how you ride an e-bike. Someone who just wants to barely just put in the minimum to get up the hill, you're not gonna have the same graph as this. All right, so now the number that everyone is gonna wanna know. The one number that people put the most emphasis on. I don't really care, but people do. The total calories burned during my ride on these bikes. And I think you're gonna be pretty interested in hearing this. So, total calories burned while riding my normal, no pedal assist mountain bike, full me, 1,350. Total calories burnt on my e-mountain bike, that is giving me pedal assist the entire ride, 1,514. Mic drop. Yes, I burned more calories while riding my pedal assist e-bike. Take that, haters. I'm gonna start telling my friends riding their regular bikes that you're gonna lose all your fitness and get out of shape. More of the story really is to go ride whatever you want. Get outside, ride your bike, enjoy the amazing fun that it is, and stop trying to criticize everyone else for who they are or what they're riding or what they're doing. Just you go have fun. That's the most important thing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For anyone that's ever gotten hate for riding an e-bike from a friend or someone randomly on the trail, send them this video. Give them the cold hard facts. You can't refute the numbers. Anyway, regardless of which camp you're on and what you think of these results, I appreciate you guys watching and still being here at the end of the video. And I hope to see you next time for yet another mountain bike adventure. Until then, you know what to do. Live free, ride hard, and go ride whatever you freaking want.